In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Welcome to The Dark Side of Songwriting. I am your host, Nayim Edwards. They just hit this motherfucker with the Steph Curry. 30 years. Racketeering, sex trafficking charges, all type of shit, right? Now, before we get into this, we're not really talking about what he got hit with. We about to take it all the way back to that Age Ain't Nothing But a Number song he wrote for Aaliyah. He wrote and he produced it. Now, if you a bitch ass nigga, you a pussy, you extra hypersensitive to shit, you might want to go ahead and cut this off. This might not be the talk you want to hear today. Cause I'm not bringing up the whole why didn't they get Harvey Weinstein and all that. Let's talk about why everybody around this motherfucker thought that it was okay for him to do what he did to Aaliyah with that fucking song. Now, if you recall, which you probably don't, that's why I'm here. Age Ain't Nothing But a Number is a song about a young bitch who wanna be with an old nigga, right? The story behind how this song even came to be, this was like his artist or whatever. We all know the get down, they got married, all that wacky shit. He lied, she lied, forged marriage, well, you know, whatever the fuck, right? She was underage, who gives, like, whatever. The executive said they didn't want to spend a lot of money on her. They didn't want to spend a lot of money with the song and all this shit. And this is where he comes in. He writes the song and he produced the song. And obviously she had everything else and this shit go crazy, right? If you, there's so many different, like, and we're going to have a couple episodes about this motherfucker right here. This actually might be, I might have to save this video because this might actually have to be his background thing, because so many of us know little girls who had dreams, and so many of us know little girls and little boys too, but we're going to stick with the little girls, you know, who want to do this singing shit, who want to do this music shit. And you know, motherfuckers coming to this shit with no knowledge, no background, starry-eyed as a bitch, thinking cause this motherfucker was already somebody. Like, so getting with him is just like, he the top dog, he is the pen. This is one of the greatest songwriters of all time, hands fucking down, fuck the background. That's what it is with this guy. So when your young ass daughter, you coming into this industry or trying to get into this industry, and you got a kid who has a singing dream, who has a rapping dream, who has an entertainment dream, and you could come across this motherfucker right here, that's phenomenal. You know, motherfuckers will do anything to stay, well, what they would have done, anything to stay in this motherfucker's good graces. So we're going to talk about two different things, and I'm going to try not to go too fucking crazy. The first thing is, the sickest part about this 30-year sentence is not the fact that he is getting what he fucking deserves so many fucking years later. It's not that he gave up all his fucking music and he may or may not be broke. Who gives a fuck? It's the fact that everybody around this motherfucker enabled him, went along with him, protected him, hid all of his dirty work. They did his dirty work for him, denied it, and allowed it to go on because of who the fuck he is. It's got nothing to do with that other shit. The fact that this motherfucker was so potent with the work that he did, that I don't want to say that it hypnotized people around him, but this nigga is a cash cow. Anything this motherfucker touched turned into money. And everybody around this motherfucker allowed it to happen. I want to know when they going to motherfucking jail. When are we going to start rounding motherfuckers up who enabled this bitch behavior? And that be the problem with teams and anybody that's around any type of artist. When motherfuckers is scared to say something, everybody's a fucking yes man, everybody's doing all this crazy ass shit, these motherfuckers will turn, he was fucking kids, and they turn their fucking head like it didn't happen. Everybody knew. I don't want to hear about that wife he got, ex-wife he got. Ain't no you didn't know. You're not going to tell me you're married to somebody, you living with somebody, and you don't know what they're doing. A bitch will go through their kid's cell phone before they go through not their kid's cell phone. A bitch will go through their nigga cell phone before they go through their child's backpack. Don't tell me you didn't know what your nigga was doing. You knew what he was doing. You allowed it to happen because you didn't want to go back to being the bitch that work at Popeyes. Producers that work with this nigga. Other writers that work with this nigga. Everybody that worked with this nigga. Anybody that wrote him a check. Everybody that was ever around him. Anybody that came to the house, they knew what he was doing and they enabled it. The problem is that shit only is gonna last as long as you can pay. This motherfucker's in jail because he stopped playing the goddamn game. Motherfuckers was tired of him. They're tired of this motherfucker. It's a new day and age now. Me Too movement. Motherfucking say what you want, do what you want. You don't have to have physical evidence for stuff. Which with shit like this, like you don't need it. And there was physical evidence. I'm laughing because it's just like everybody saw it. Everybody knew it. Nobody gave a fuck about it. They had to hawk this bitch down and wipe him out. The second thing, let's talk, Robert. Well, whatever. Well, let's talk. How long did you expect your crazy ass behavior to really last? If a bitch is 18 years old, we know an 18-year-old and a 50-year-old don't have nothing in common. It's weird, but it's not illegal. Let's talk real. How long did this nigga expect this shit to last? How long did you expect it to last? Parents, when you have a child that wants to do this shit, and this is your only way in, do you allow your child to go and do this shit? Like, if you watch Surviving R. Kelly, parents was taking their fucking children to the R. Kelly concerts. What fucking 14, 15-year-old goes to an R. Kelly concert? I want the parents arrested. Every parent that had a child that was abused by this motherfucker or whatever needs to be jailed next. Get ass 100 years, because I will argue you sold your child into prostitution. If you watch Surviving R. Kelly, those motherfuckers up there was selling their children into sex slavery. This shit was gonna happen irregardless of anything. He getting long in the tooth. It's over or whatever. They done wringed them dry. Got the catalog. Now it's time for you to fucking go. That ain't conspiracy theory. This is just what happens. I want the parents jailed. This is sick. It's sick. And a lot of times parents will exploit you. Parents will, like when you're a little kid, see, when you're this age and you older, it is what it is, right? If your mama can benefit, she can. She don't really give a fuck. As long as you out the house, you know. These parents took advantage of their children's talent, sold them to a sex predator, and now it's just like, oh, don't look at me. No, look at you. Look at every executive. Look at everybody who's ever written this bitch a check. Everybody must go. When that Age Ain't Nothing But a Number album came out, or whatever the fuck, did you notice this motherfucker was on the album cover, in the background blurred out, leaned against the wall? The photographer, jail. Engineer, jail. You're not gonna tell me, even back in the 90s, it was like 94 or some shit, you're not gonna tell me that you thought it was right. You knew it was wrong. Everybody knew it was wrong. Whoever signed off on the goddamn marriage certificate, jail them. Everybody, if this bitch go, everybody needs to go. And I'm not saying he should be free. No, I'm not with all that child shit. Like, no, I'm not with that. Under no circumstance. Everybody, when you are talented, when you're a genius, when you are a genius, people will overlook every flaw you have. People will overlook everything wrong you have as long as they can benefit from it. And this motherfucker is such a genius. He has so much he was such a god to these people. They overlooked how crazy and ridiculous. Bro, they said this motherfucker had people held hostage with cell phones. Like the brainwashing is out of this fucking world. Or whatever. We wasn't there, we don't know the truth, but enough people have said it, so let's just roll with it. Everybody's, like, this motherfucker had people so blind that they just decided that fuck the girls, fuck the kids. We rocking with him to the end. There's people still screaming, free this nigga. But nobody was saying nothing when he wrote them sick ass songs. It's more than one. We gonna go through shit. I'm gonna go through his whole fucking catalog. The whole thing. And if I gotta go piece by piece, I will. This is a sick motherfucker. And nobody, the purpose of me even saying this is that nobody around him gave a fuck when they could benefit. And my thing is, if you standing with this nigga, stand with him now. Get out there and picket for him. Petition for him. They're not gonna do that because that's not the safe thing to do. That's not the smart thing to do now. There's nothing to benefit from screaming free R. Kelly. There is no benefit for saying free him. So they're not gonna come out. They're not getting paid. Ain't no little kids for them to exploit. Record label just keep getting paid. Parents done got paid off that little bit of ass money or a chance to get famous. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck. That's the dark side of this shit. When you such a motherfucking genius, the same people who held you up, it's the same motherfuckers that's gonna drop your ass in the fucking cellar. Motherfuckers made all type of piss jokes and is satirical cartoons out and all type of shit. Nobody gave a fuck. I want them all in jail. Fuck the bullshit. All of them. Anybody who enabled it. Because you can't, anybody who helped. It's like with that, what's that nigga with that Child Island? Maxwell, whatever the fuck, that Maxwell hoe. They need to do, everybody who helped this bitch, every record label that helped this bitch, anybody who has something to do with it, they need to do them like they did him. Like they did her. This shit is sick. This motherfucker is sick. His lyrics was about fucking kids. And nobody gave you got your kids singing this motherfucker song. We loved this nigga back in the day. And everybody knew he was a predator and everybody overlooked it. But that's the privilege you get with being a fucking genius. With being a motherfucking... So he called himself the Pied Piper of R&B. Y'all motherfuckers, you know what the Pied Piper is? That motherfucker who fucking... He was doing his flute and doing his music and leading the children to out their houses, away from their parents, into the forest to death. He was killing them kids. He was doing crazy shit to the children. And everybody ignored it. So, anybody who supported him, anybody who enabled him, fuck support like buying the music. Because you can play dumb if you want to, but anybody who supported this bitch, the engineer, the record label, the parents who sold their children, into child sex slavery, they all need to be jailed. Because they're just as responsible for that age ain't nothing but a number shit. When you're recording this shit and you see who wrote this shit and you seen the relationship, this motherfuckers was not hiding this. This wasn't a secret. They should have been jailed back then. How much responsibility do we put on the people around when motherfuckers is doing stuff? If you see something, say something. Motherfuckers don't believe in that. We gonna come back because we gonna get a lot. We gonna wring this bitch dry because we gonna go through every fucking song he got and we gonna pick them ones that's like, y'all motherfuckers, yeah, we gonna slam on y'all asses. Anyway, that's the dark side of this songwriting shit. I'm your host, Nayim Edwards. I'll holla at you.